All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Robotics and Computer Science Remote Learning Options. Today, we're going to talk about CoderZ, an Amazon engineer. Joining me is Kathy Dasho, a digital learning specialist in the North Reading Public Schools, and I'm Dan Downs, Director of Digital Learning in the North Reading Public Schools. One of the main things we want to really focus on here is providing options for students during times of remote learning, chances to enhance their programming and robotic skills when they're not in front of a physical robot. So the document I've shared here that you can see on the screen is a document that goes over not only how to get started with CoderZ and Amazon Engineer, which Ms. Dasho will soon go into the details of, but as you scroll down and through, there's a quick overview. CoderZ was one of the first remote robotic options out there available to students. And Amazon Engineering has teamed up with them to provide some additional CS resources. So on this document, we have not only the sign up for CoderZ, but we have the Amazon Future Engineer link. And I'm just going to provide a quick overview of this document. When you access this document, and what we'll do is if you provide your email in the chat, we'll email it to you, but you also will send out the link in the comments on the YouTube posting. Here on the Amazon Future Engineer, you'll see a range of free options for CS courses that have been provided not only during the COVID-19 time, but also generally available. There's an introduction to computer science with Python, virtual robotics, celebrity song remix, and also a range of options for the AP CS exam support. So there's a lot of resources here to expose students to providing them additional resources while they're remote learning, and also to kind of connect with not only code.org and a code break, boot up lessons, and a lot of different resources that have just been provided from Amazon Future Engineer. So this is a kind of a partnership that's come together with code.org, with Amazon Future Engineer and CoderZ, and it's a nice partnership with these two groups coming together. So I'm gonna hand it off to Kathy Dasho, who's gonna take us into getting started with CoderZ at Amazon Engineer.
Okay, hi, thanks, Dan. I'm just going to go ahead and share one of my tabs here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So let me go ahead and say Chrome tab, and I'm going to go ahead and start out with, this is the registration tab for coders, and when you go to the screen, you can see that it offers free online, not only the robotic simulation, but also some additional coding classes. And any student, teacher, or school affected by COVID-19, this is perfectly free. So you can go ahead and you can join as a student, or if you're a teacher, you can pick for a particular class or for your entire school. So this is what the screen looks like. And if you go ahead and log in, if I do already have an account. So this is what it looks like if you go ahead and log in. And actually, it's pretty slick. It logged me right in. This is actually what the dashboard looks like. Okay, I'm going to use here. Okay. Okay, so maybe I should just stop it. I'm going to click on another tab here. So, Dan, can you see this okay?
Not yet.
Okay.
I think you need to share your screen.
I know, but unfortunately there's nothing at the bottom. All right, hold on. Let me go back. Okay. I see what's going on. All right. All right. So I have to pick, this is why I wanted to do a whole screen in a way, but all right. I'm going to do it this way because it's just, okay. So if we go, okay. It's actually, I think it's because I logged in. Okay. So this is actually what the dashboard looks like. All right. So if you're a beginner, you have Cyber Robotics 101. And what's nice that they've set up for all of these is you have a very nice teacher's guide. So whether you're a beginner, an intermediate, or a novice, you have a teacher's guide to go with each. And then over here to the right, you have Python Gym with a course guide with that. And it's really handy because let me just, this is an example of what the teacher's guide looks like. If I scroll down, this is for Python. It's a complete guide with a description. It has an outline. It has questions you can use for the class, questions for discussion, along with basically the entire course outline. Okay, with each of the missions listed. So it's really for free. This is really, it's a great thing. I'm going to jump back over here. I wish it was. I think the problem is because I've got it open in more than one tab. It also has something called a knowledge base. So if the students or yourself as the teacher wants to go in and look up a specific aspect, in this case, the code editor controls, they have explanations and descriptions of if a student has a question that you can go over. So it's really very robust. So if I jump back into here, and I think I'm just going to exit out of one of them because it keeps complaining that I have two of them open. Okay, so if I go in here to the CoderZ Adventure right here, now this would be probably for elementary level because as you can see, it's more of a game-like interface with things called an adventure, with modules called an Adventure Peak, Frozen Island, the Lost City, Crystal Crater. This definitely would be more of an elementary type mission. So if I click on Adventure Peak, you can see they're going to start out with just mission 1, which would be the basics. Then you would get into turning, distance, double turn, and reverse. So if you take a look here, and if I'm going to go ahead and click here, it's going to go ahead and load up. This is what the interface of CoderZ looks like. It's almost there. So as you can see here, it's almost like a small tutorial helping you along the way. So with a little encouragement here, writing code is as easy as snapping blocks together. And it explains to you what this block is for. This is a drive block. It's not connected, so it's not going to do anything. And they're telling you that's why it's grayed out. Okay, so over here is going to be where as you progress in the modules, this will become populated with more blocks. This is where your blocks are going in. And right now you're in what's called Blockly. Over here is the simulation screen. So if I go ahead and click next, it's going to encourage me to take this particular block and snap it in. Okay? And then it's asking me to run the code to see if it works. So as you go ahead, you can see the robot is indeed moving forward. And I get a nice congratulations. If something didn't work right, I can always try again. Or I can go on to the next activity, or I can go back to the Learning Center. All right, so if I just go ahead and go to the next activity, I just want to show you quickly. Here are the blocks over here, Blockly is not unlike Scratch blocks, they're color-coded. So it's telling me the robot's facing the wrong way. It's time to leave the turn, what options are for the turn, and then you can go ahead and connect the blocks, drive forward, turn right. And as you can see, I haven't run this yet, but I did want to show you, you can click up here, you can restart the mission, go on to a next or previous activity. If you're a teacher you can have a solution to the particular mission right here. Okay? So it's extremely useful and extremely user-friendly. Now, also embedded inside CoderZ, behind the simulation screen, for advanced students, now as I said, the section I'm in right now is probably for elementary students. But if you indeed wanted to go up to some higher level missions, or if students wanted to start teaching themselves some Java, if I click right here onto where, and if you notice, as I'm hovering, it says show code. If I click right there, you can start to see the Java code. As you can see here, I don't have that many blocks here, but it will switch over to Java code. Okay, and then I can click back to go to the simulation. Okay, so I'm going to run back to the Learning Center right here. And as you can see here, so beginners would probably be, if I go back here to my courses and I go back to the Learning Center, I don't have any, oh yeah, hold on. So beginners would probably be obviously for elementary, and then as you get more experience, you can go into intermediate, novice, and Python Gym is for advanced. So that's what CoderZ looks like. And also, again, don't forget we have the teacher's guide. And also, I also wanted to bring your attention to the Future Engineer program. If I scroll down here, I haven't filled this out yet, but I plan to. You can get free access to some more advanced courses, such as an introduction to Python, AP Computer Science Principles, AP Computer Science Java, Explorations in Coding Middle School, and then PD for Teachers, Intro to Computer Science, Python, APCS, and APCS Java. So this is something, I mean, they're not charging, so this is definitely well worth it, and you can invite additional teachers here also. So if I go back, here's the dashboard, and that's that. So if I go back here, I'm going to stop sharing that. And at this point, do you want me to go back into the document, or do we want to go over the questions, or what do you think at this point?
I can share the questions, and we can kind of talk about them.
Okay. All right.
So can you see that? Can you see my screen?
I can see it. Yep.
So we have a document here that gives an overview of the interface in the teacher's guide, and just, you know, give us a quick email. We have some information at the bottom of this document to kind of, if you're interested in joining us with the MassQ SIG group on computer science and robotics. And it gives a little graphic here from what Kathy was just showing you. And what she just demonstrated is part of the simulation-based tutorial. Kathy, do you want to talk a little bit about the overview and the quick start you just provided, and just kind of review how it connects to this document?
Yeah, let me just scroll down a little. If you could scroll down. So you'll get, basically you get missions, you get beginner, intermediate, novice, but they also break off into higher level missions. So basically if you go and you sign up for this, they have broken it down into elementary, middle, and high school. And having when CoderZ started out, we were actually a pilot school for CoderZ, and I have used it with both middle school and high school. And I can testify to the fact that it's definitely, it may look, the part that I demonstrated may look fairly simple, but as you go on to the high school level, the simulation is definitely gets much more challenging, and they can spend time on it. The nice thing about it is not only do you get the teacher's guide, but you can get the answers to help students if they get really stuck. But the other nice thing about it is you can actually assign a mission or a simulation for a homework assignment. And because it's all web-based, And especially now, during this time of remote learning, it's extremely relevant to, you know, what we're experiencing now. So it's extremely versatile. You can run it, you can go over questions in class and then assign missions or simulations for homework.
So we can get into some of the key questions. We included on this document, and we'll put this document in the YouTube page comments, is the sign up link that we shared in the access.
Mm-hmm.
And our first question is, how can CoderZ introduce virtual robotics to your classroom? Kathy, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Right. Well, using the on-screen simulation, how does it, let me just look at it again. Virtual going to your classroom. Because it's so tutorial based, but as you progress in it, the tutorial is there to help you, but it kind of gets a little bit less and less, but you can always pick on a hint to help you. As you progress, it doesn't, what I'm trying to say is it doesn't bother you the entire time. It definitely gets challenging. So between the tutorial, the teacher's guide, which helps you you can introduce concepts to the student ahead of time and then let them go ahead and get right into the simulation. It's extremely effective.
And it might be one of those things where the student might be able to take off on their own and keep going.
Right, which can help to differentiate too also, yeah.
So which programming language are students exposed to with the software?
Pretty much, you start out, the blocks themselves are using Blockly, but if, like the screen I showed where you can switch over to the code, that's Java. So students can begin to teach themselves some Java. And also the new thing they've offered for part of the COVID-19 the part of the COVID-19 thing that they're offering, the online package, is Python. So you're utilizing, younger students are learning how to use Blockly, very similar to Scratch. Older students can start teaching themselves Java, and then everybody if you go with the Python one, you can teach and learn Python.
So our next question, are kind of framing these questions out, is what are the benefits of this remote robotics experience? You know, I think that's the question when people start to use these resources. Some are going to definitely be better than others for, you know, providing a remote experience with robotics.
Right. Well, being the fact that CoderZ was one of the first ones to get into web-based simulation, as I said earlier, it's very relevant for this time right now. It is a very supportive environment, being that the students can go through the tutorials. Also, the fact that they offer a complete teacher's guide. Also, the fact that when you log in as a teacher and you click on the hint block, the student will only see a hint, but you will, if a student gets really stuck, you have a ready-made answer that you can suggest to the student or help them or begin to help them with every single mission or simulation. You have, as the teacher, only you have that provided answer. So,
and they're not new to the game. I mean, this was even prior to us going to a remote learning environment. CoderZ was already working on virtual robotics and utilizing different platforms. So this isn't something that they've developed just for this time period. They've been working on this for a while, which I think totally makes a big difference.
Right, and as you can see, the simulation screen, it's really pretty good. It's really quite clear. It's not primitive at all. It's really pretty slick. And the nice thing about a simulation is, you know, to take advantage, to think of a plus during this whole period of distance learning, you don't get the hassle of, you know, a ton of robot kits, the headache of where you're going to store them all. Everything is just on the web. So, and you don't have to install anything. It's right there. You basically just have to sign up. So that's a plus too.
And I'd add, as a question for you, what do you see as some of the additional benefits of the Amazon Future Engineer curriculum in that partnership?
Well, the benefits I see are and I'm going to take advantage of it myself, is they're offering PD for the teachers. That's
Oh,
a huge benefit, because when do you ever really get offered free online PD? That's a huge benefit.
and the last question is all about experience, and I've
Yeah,
seen.
and the nice thing about this simulation is because they're giving you a teacher's guide, and because not only are they helping you, the tutorials are helping the student, you don't really need you don't have to feel any intimidation factor at all, because this is pretty much a complete package. You've got the teacher's guide, you've got tutorials for the students, you've got, when the teacher logs in, you've got that built-in answer for code. It's really a complete package. So I would at least take a look at it.
Great. So I just put a note here at the bottom. If you're interested in connecting with us and the MassQ special interest group around computer science and robotics, drop us an email and we can add you to these streams. We could invite you to do a stream with us, or even a live webinar or a call to look at some of the newest kind of items that have come out around computer science and robotics, particularly now when it's kind of a challenge to address the needs of students, especially looking into next year and what that might look like. So feel free to connect with us. Subscribe to this channel if you want to get updates on streams that will be coming up related to computer science or robotics that me and Kathy might do. But feel free also to reach out with us an email, and I will put this document that we went over that has a lot of the links into the comments on the YouTube channel link. Or feel free to reach out to me if you want me to send you the PDF version. That'd be great. I want to thank Kathy for doing this with me today.
You're quite welcome.
She's always a great person to do this type of activity with. And feel free to join in on any one of our streams as they come up. And hopefully you're having a great evening. So thank you for joining us.